Have you been thinking, you know what, the time's finally here. I'm gonna take my golf game seriously. I'm gonna start to know my numbers, I'm gonna start to practice, I'm gonna start to really dial in the things that need to be improved. If that's the case, Arccos is probably going to be a good fit for you. They are sensors you put on your clubs that tell you every single thing, every piece of data you could want to know about your golf game. So that's what we're talking about today. 5 reasons you should pick up Arccos smart sensors if you've been thinking about it, if you've been on the fence and you just want someone to get you over the finish line and say, yeah, just buy the damn things already, then I think you're gonna like this video. Keep watching. Real quick, if you do decide to buy Arccos Caddie at the end of this video, you can use the coupon code below to save 15%. You're gonna save a little bit of money. I will get a small commission, just so you know, but everybody wins. I'm a huge fan of this product, and so if you do decide to buy it, I have a feeling you're going to be very happy with your purchase. All right, first reason why I think you should consider buying Arccos Caddie is because you're going to learn what you actually need to work on, not what you think you need to work on. So if you were to say, hey, how are your approach shots from 90 yards in the middle of the fairway? I'd be like, that's probably one of my strongest shots. But in fact, if I go to my Arccos data, it is not one of my strongest shots. I am better from the rough 100 to 150 yards out than I am in the middle of the fairway 90 yards out. And then when I look at that data and I think back, I'm like, you know what? Like sometimes fairways, tight lies, you've got like a wedge in your hand that's a little bit of a blade wedge. Yeah, sometimes I skill those straight over the green. That actually is not one of my best shots. I should probably start practicing that more. As part of that, you're also gonna learn how far you actually hit your shots. Yeah, I know you think you hit your driver 270 yards every time, but chances are you're probably closer to like 230 or 240. Yeah, you might hit one every once in a while, but your average distance is probably not going to be as good as your longest distance. And what Arccos is going to do is it's going to take all that shot data and it's going to give you what's called a smart distance. And this is kind of your average distance with this shot. This is what you can expect to hit with this club. And I know for me, I have found some gaps. For instance, there's like a 20-yard gap between my 5-iron and my 6-iron. And so I need to look at that and say, okay, do I need to get different clubs? Do I need to make some adjustments? My 4-iron is almost the exact same distance as my 3 hybrid, and I have a very archaic, very old, very horrible 3 hybrid, so I know that's a bad shot. So that's telling me, you know what, I need to maybe find a club that's going to allow me to gap up, get a little more distance from my hybrid so that I can actually have all the tools in my golf bag that I need to be able to hit the shots that I need to hit on the course. And so if I didn't have Arccos for that data, I wouldn't necessarily know that was the case, and especially that 20-yard gap between my 5 and my 6. And looking back on the data, it makes sense on the course. Oftentimes I'm having to like really try and hit my 6 too hard. I'm trying to take stuff off my 5, and that allows me to practice accordingly and also figure out what equipment needs I need next time I go get a fitting. But I can say with certainty, there are going to be aspects of your game that you will need to work on based on the data that you absolutely did not realize you needed to work on. And vice versa. You're going to find some parts of your game that are actually probably pretty good that you maybe didn't think were as strong. So my bunker game, which I feel horrible about, when I look at the Arccos data, it's like, oh, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Okay, second, and this is kind of a little known Arccos secret, you can go to the online dashboard, the one you can get to from a desktop computer and get way more information than you can get in the app. And so I love this. You can see scatter charts of every single shot you've hit with a certain club or on a certain hole. So you can get an idea of exactly where you were hitting the balls, what distances, if you're going short, if you're going left, right, long, and you can see it in a visual form to help you prove to yourself that, oh yes, I really do need to work on this, or oh yeah, this is stronger than I thought it was going to be. And one of the newer features you can get in the dashboard, which I really, really like, is you can get an overview of how you have played a certain hole every single time you've played it. So let's say you generally play the same home course, and over the course of the last few months, you've played it 10 times. You can look at a GPS overview of that hole, and it's gonna show you every single drive, it's gonna show you every single approach, every shot you hit, and you can select the round to highlight each individual one. And so what that's gonna allow you to do is say, oh, every time I hit driver, all of a sudden I'm making par. Every time I hit a 3-wood, I'm going to the right. And you can see this visually represented in a really interesting way. And so you can do that for every single hole. And so this is super useful if you play a certain course on a regular basis and you wanna see what trends are working, what's not, so that you can make smarter decisions when you are on the golf course. Third reason you should consider getting Arccos is because it's both a built-in rangefinder and a built-in GPS watch. People often ask me, what is your favorite golf GPS watch? If it's a dedicated watch, it would be the Garmin Approach S62, but for my purposes, it's Arccos with an Apple Watch. So using their Arccos app, you can get all the same GPS distances and data as you would from any other GPS app, like GolfShot or GolfLogix. But it goes a step further because when it pairs with your Apple Watch, you're able to get all of those distances on your watch. So you don't even have to have your phone, you can just look down, you can see all the information you need very quickly. The watch also makes it really easy to get other pieces of data that you would normally have to look at your phone for. So if you already have an Apple Watch, you don't have to go spend extra money on a GPS, you don't have to go spend extra money on a rangefinder. Arccos can do all of these things for you while also tracking every single shot you hit. And that's a pretty powerful combination. All right, fourth reason you should consider picking up Arccos is for AI Caddy recommendations that actually work. Every time you step up to the tee, you can hit the AI Caddy button and it is going to analyze your golf game, all of your stats, the particular hole you are playing, the particular weather conditions you are experiencing currently, and it is going to make a recommendation around what club you should hit. And it's going to give you a probability of what you're going to get for making par, bogey, and so on. Now, I've heard people say, oh, the feature doesn't work very well. It just tells me to hit driver every single time. Well, that's probably because your driver is one of the stronger aspects of your game, and it recognizes that. For me, my driver is very bad. Like, it's gotten horrible lately, and I need to get to the bottom of why. I should probably actually go through my Arccos data, figure that out. But it will usually recommend that I hit my 3-wood or my 4-iron because there's probably a 50% chance if I hit my driver, I'm going to pump one out of bounds, and Arccos knows that. So the Caddy recommendations have actually been super useful, and every time I follow them and I put my ego to the side and I hit an iron or I hit my 3-wood instead of my driver, I usually end up with a better score. This feature is improving constantly. You can click a button on the Caddy page where it shows you all of the different calculations it is factoring in, and it's pretty mind-blowing just how much information it's taking into account to make that recommendation for you. So I've yet to find another stat tracker that does anything close to what Arccos does with its AI Caddy. It's amazing how much Arccos gives you with the app and with the hardware that you get. It really is an impressive product. All right, finally, the last reason you should pick up Arccos, and this might be my favorite, if you're a traveling golfer, if you're someone that travels a lot, you play a lot of different courses, to be able to go back and relive every single round, to be able to see every single shot you hit on a course while you're traveling, while you're playing that bucket list course, it's a pretty cool feature. So I mentioned this in my last video, to be able to go back and see my driver, 3-wood, 8-iron, 1-putt par on the road hole at St. Andrews, that's a pretty cool feature. And as someone who travels a lot for golf, I play a lot of interesting golf courses all over the place, to be able to scroll back through, and sometimes I'll literally sit there for an hour and I'll just be like, oh, I remember that round. Oh yeah, I remember that shot. That's really cool. Arccos also makes it really easy to export data from any given hole so you can share it on social media or send it to your friends. So you make an incredible eagle, you hit export, it saves your photo gallery, and then you can go tell all the world via Instagram or send it to your friends to brag about all the great shots you have hit. Arccos makes that possible. So with that, hopefully you figured out if Arccos is right for you. I will say it's not perfect. It's not for everybody. And we've got an Arccos review I will link to below. We're also very soon going to have 5 reasons not to pick up Arccos. And so I'll link to those below. But if you got some value out of this, maybe consider hitting subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we got a new video. My name's Sean Ogle, Breaking80.com, where we do cool golf course and cool tech product reviews. With that, I hope you have an excellent day, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.